Hello, my name is Deborah, and I'm a member of Andrew Chapel. Imagine yourself in Bethlehem as I read from Luke 2, 6 through 7. While they were there, the time came for a baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no room for them at the inn. This verse is particularly meaningful to me, for ever since I was little, every Christmas, my father would tell my brothers and my sister and I about how on Christmas Eve, his family would gather in the front room and put hay in the corner of the room to represent the manger. The hay was bathed in light from candles from the fir tree. They would come home after Christmas service on Christmas Eve and have a big dinner of pork roast and sauerkraut with barley. And on Christmas Day and the 2 days after, they would go visit friends and family. From my suburban American childhood, with its 1960s and 70s soundtrack of televised beloved Christmas specials and piles of brightly wrapped toys under the tree, these traditions seemed distant and mysterious. For the land of my father's birth was Estonia, a small country on the Baltic coast. His family had a small farm on the island of Saaremaa, the biggest island of Estonia. It is a windswept place of juniper-dotted coasts and piney winds. My father's father was a fisherman and a farmer and a woodsman. His family raised crops and had a few animals. They made what they could and traded for what they couldn't make. My father was fond of saying that although they were not rich in material things, they were rich in what counted: love. The islanders were used to hardship, back-breaking work, fishermen lost at sea, mothers lost in childbirth, and hunger. But World War II brought unimaginable horrors. The Soviets, and then the Nazis, and then the Soviets again, invaded Estonia, and the part of my father's island, the southern peninsula, was evacuated by the Nazis, and everyone who lived there was forced to leave and become slave laborers in the Sudetenland. By the time the war ended, 1/3 of that part of the island's population had been killed, 1/3 deported and lost, and only 1/3 came back in the years after the war. My father was only 12 when the Nazis forced everyone from his part of the island to leave. His father was taken by the Soviets in Germany, and they never saw him again. After years of being refugees in a displaced person camp in Germany, my father, his mother, and his 2 sisters finally came to the United States and were sponsored to live and work on a farm in New Jersey. My father taught his children to love God and be grateful for God's many blessings, to cherish the United States and the freedoms and opportunities that the United States offers, and to honor the traditions of a homeland that he thought that he would never see again and that we would never see. So when Estonia regained its independence in 1991, it seemed like a miracle. And in the intervening almost 30 years, Estonia has become a proud member of NATO and the European Union. In the past few years, it has also been threatened by Russia, whose warplanes violate its airspace, submarines its waters, and cyber hackers its computer networks. So at this time of uncertainty in our country and the world, I think of Mary looking down at her newborn in the manger. God had told her who her son would be, but she had no idea what would happen to them. She simply trusted God and loved him, confident that she would do what was needed to do with his all-powerful help. So may we.